Well, either you go for a house that is representative, in other words elected, or you go for a house that has expertise. And for the reasons Lady Butler-Sloss has given, I think we need a house that has expertise, that brings something different to the table, that is not competing with the Commons, is not vying with supremacy, full supremacy with the Commons. So that's what I'd say about that. Is it diverse enough? No. It's only 30% female, for example. Now that's partly a function of our extremely advanced age. Our average age, our median age, I think is actually 71. So we have fortunate enough to have trailblazers like Baroness Butler-Sloss, and one can only hope that those numbers will increase. But I think what we really need to look at, as others have said, is the way that we compose ourselves. We're far too big, and in my view, we have far too many people who are there for reasons of political cronyism. They are put there because they've been useful to the Prime Minister of the day, not necessarily because they have contributed in the excellent way, for example, that Lord Young did in government. And I'd say we don't have enough of the people that bring real distinction and expertise. We're lucky enough to have people like Martin Rees, the Astronomer Royal. We have people like Baroness Madingley of Cambridge, who is an expert on low carbon technology. And those are absolutely the sort of people we need in the House of Lords. I put an amendment down when we were discussing the hereditary peers. We're going to lose 38 hereditary crossbench peers. Now, I don't suggest we replace all of those because we're trying to make the House of Lords smaller. But I suggested that we replace 20 of them over a 5-year period with people who are selected, as I was selected, by open competition. You write in with a CV, 6 referees, and you take your luck, and it is luck, with the House of Lords Appointments Commission. But that's the way the Astronomer Royal got in, it's the way Baroness Madingley got in, and I think to bolster our expertise, some of the hereditaries that we're losing should be replaced by people, and most certainly diverse people who have some very particular expertise to bring to us. Because that's, I think, how you justify having an unelected House.
I feel very strongly about this, because we have over 200 people who don't turn up at all. And it is not helpful. We also have some who turn up to get, no doubt, the expenses, but don't, in fact, contribute. What I am concerned about is that I see my title as Baroness. You should see it as playing a part in running the legislature of the country. You should not see it as an honour. I have actually suggested to the leader of the House that we should have 2 sorts of peers, 2 sorts of lords and baronesses, those who get it in the honours list and don't sit in the Lords, and those who are appointed who want to carry out the job. I really think it's very important. We shouldn't be appointing people for what Lord Anderson calls cronyism.
Thank you.
A very quick footnote. On diversity, where we are really out of line with the country is geographic diversity. There's a huge number come from London and the South East. The only geographical representatives we got are actually the bishops who represent their diocese. I speak as a political crony, David, appointed because I was useful to David Cameron. I think the way to get the numbers down is to say to each group, your numbers are going to come down by 1/3, and each group will decide who stays. It's what they did with hereditaries, and as Lady Butler-Sloss has said, that would soon sort out those who were not pulling their weight. Whether it'll happen is another matter, but I think that is a quick way of getting down to a reasonable size, roughly the size of the House of Commons.
Professor Blick, final short observation?
People often talk about unelected, elected House of Lords. Actually, if you go around, look around second chambers around the world, not that many of them are actually directly elected in the way that the House of Commons is in this country. So I think, or say the US Senate is in America. So I think it's not necessarily about a debate of elected versus unelected. Doesn't mean there aren't different ways of doing it, but that's maybe a slightly distracting debate, and it would set up, I think, potentially a conflict between the Lords and the Commons if they both had their own immediate mandate.
Thank you very much. I'm 45, but it's been a tough year. So, but I am still considered very young for the House of Lords, but if I work hard for 20 years, I may well be as established as others, but we shall see. But I certainly see it as a job, and those who see it as a job do a good job, and those who see it as an honour don't. And it is a distinction that is worth making.